and the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Sunday, and you know what that means, Mother's Day, but also weekly purchases, that time of the week where we investigate what came through the door via DHL, Amazon, UPS, United States Postal Service, FedEx, and of course, that old outlaw, Waylon Jennings. It is the weekly purchases, and a big week of weekly purchases this week, and of course, this week's edition of weekly purchases brought to you by jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Got to get a deal out there. And we got some Jay's pickups this week we'll talk about in the back half of weekly purchases, of course. But a lot going on, as I did say, this week as well. And if you want to sponsor the weekly purchases, toy news, or the Kyle Peterson Show podcast, reach out to me at TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com. But of course, got to start with a little bit of housekeeping before we get into things, as we usually do. Of course, Patreon, it's the month of May this month, as most know. Our giveaway this month, Cody and Dusty Rhodes, Mattel Creations WWE Superstars 2-pack. That is one giveaway, and the second giveaway is a copy of my book. It is the complete guide to the ECW original San Francisco toy makers, available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or you can order a copy from me, where I will autograph it if that is your thing. Just reach out to me, of course, on social media, wherever it may be. But a lot going on the old Patreon, of course, early edition of the videos, all that kind of stuff. The podcast, every single week, my wife and I do the podcast. Make sure you give it a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're on. Check out the video cast if that's your thing, or audio cast as you're driving down the road. A lot of fun stuff with my wife there, a lot of crazy discussions, a lot of going on, and obviously some figure discussions as well. Album of the week, a former toy news staple, has moved over to the podcast every single week. Check it out. Appreciate the support on the book, on the podcast, and both of my YouTube channels. You guys, the real ones out there. How about that? But of course, as I said, busy week this week. A lot of busy stuff going on. It is Mother's Day, so you better wish your mom a happy Mother's Day, or else you're going to probably be in trouble. Of course, my wife, she's kind of my mom in a lot of ways as well. She's going to be here later in this video for Question of the Week, so stay tuned for that. But no big plans for Mother's Day. I guess we'll ask her about it and see what she wants to do, because it's her day. We'll do whatever she wants to do. Busy week on the channel this week. We kept going through the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Haul-a-thon figures. A lot of unboxings between both channels around that. More this week as well. Brand new X-Men Nemesis Build-A-Figure wave. We got through that whole wave this week on the channel. A few wrestling figures sprinkled in as well. Toy hunts. We did a tariff video, or more like a where are we going to go in collecting here, what happens now video. Check that out if you missed that as well. Did our weekly top 10, and a top 10 this week instead of top 5. Did a special one for the big rubber guys, who I hope to see in the future for the big rubber guys. Check that video out if you missed it. But as usual, a lot of content here on the channel. A lot of content to come after this week, and I got quite the stockpile as well. Going to be interesting, though, over the next month or two as things slow down coming up with new stuff. We're going to have to go back in the vault for some older stuff and do some other videos along the way. So if you got a video idea you want me to do, who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky. Put it in the comments. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. You never know what might happen there. But a lot of content to come. I'll also be at Des Moines Con. Think San Diego Comic-Con, but about 50 times bigger. What? Top it further from the couch. It's not bigger? Are you sure? I don't know. We'll see. But Des Moines Con, May 31st. If you're in the Midwest, come on out to Des Moines Con. I will be there part of a panel. So people are going to be grilling me with questions. I'm sure it's going to be rough, especially from the hometown audience. We'll see how that goes. But May 31st, join me over there at Des Moines Con. Make sure you go to Des Moines Con, I guess. There's going to be a lot of stuff there. My daughter's actually said, oh, I want to go. Some actor from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is going to be there. She's like, oh, I want to meet him. So we'll go do that too, I guess, along the way. But Des Moines Con, May 31st. I think it goes the 30th through the 1st, but I will be there on the 31st, if that is your thing. If it is your thing. But my thing is the question of the week. Mm-hmm. All right, time for question of the week. Angie is here. Angie, say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Angie.
Hello.
There you go. A little louder. A little louder for the people in the back there. That's where Elle must get her quiet speaking from, is you, because Elle's always so like a mouse. I'm like, speak up. Can't turn my hearing aid up enough.
Look at us both in yellow.
Look
We
at us.
didn't even plan it.
Like 2 canaries or something like that. But Angie, getting awfully handsy
I was
there.
just thinking that. It's
whoa.
like what is it? Are you girl crazy?
Yeah, I know you're touching down there. I know what you're up to. But Angie, speaking of Elle, it is Mother's Day. Oh, shout out to the real mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
So what's on the Mother's Day docket for you? Anything good? Where do you want to get for dinner? Do you want to eat something at home? You want to go out to eat? Where could be the perfect dinner for you?
Probably some grilling.
I thought you said grilling. Okay, who should we invite over? No, grilling. Okay, we'll do some grilling later then. That's what we'll end up doing. But happy Mother's Day to you and to all those that celebrate Mother's Day. And there you go. How about that? But Angie's here, of course, for the question of the week. And Angie and I, we're getting ready to leave right after this. We're going to some vintage clothing fair type thing.
Never been.
Hopefully I find a Western shirt or two. We'll see. I'm always looking for the vintage stuff. The new Western shirt just doesn't have that pizzazz or that dash of 80s class, of course.
Hard to find those pearl buttons.
Hard to find those pearl snaps. And I love pearl snaps. You love pearl necklaces. It all adds up together right there. But Angie is here for the question of the week. Angie, you got the question of the week right here.
Oh my
you ready for this?
No.
Put on your readers.
All right. I feel like it should be over here because then no one can hear me. Joe Anderson, 2599. First time asking questions, long time viewer. How often do you experience buyer's remorse?
Oh, and that's a question that goes both ways. Do you ever feel buyer's remorse on Amazon and Target and all these online shoppings and stuff like that?
No.
You never feel buyer's remorse on any of the stuff you got. Like,
Does that mean you regret buying it or you regret not buying it?
buying it? You're like, maybe I shouldn't have bought this one, or maybe I should have waited, or...
Well, if I regret it or it goes on sale, then I just return it and rebuy it.
Oh, yeah, you just take it back. I guess that's the beauty in Amazon, where action figures, once you open it, you can't really take it back.
Instagram used to get me on those, like TikTok
like
links,
reels.
And then I'd get some Chinese. That's happened to me a couple times. So now I don't. I know
are
better.
the worst. You should not be allowed.
I'm better.
And don't even start on, like, if you go to never ask Angie to get tickets for a show at like Ticketmaster or anything, because she can never see which one's the real Ticketmaster, which one's the phony one. It's always so dangerous. Buying from it says it's $2,000 for tickets. Yeah, because you're not at the real Ticketmaster. You're at some weird site. Always having issues with that.
I'm
so
doing better.
She is getting better.
Until my StubHub got hacked.
Then her StubHub gets hacked, and oh my gosh! And then you bought tickets for that Hinterland, and you didn't read all the instructions about kids are free. Oh my gosh!
What would I do without you?
I don't know. You'd just be living in a gutter somewhere, I'm sure, just living life. But how often do you experience buyer's remorse? I rarely do, and Angie must have the same kind of thought as me, because in that second, that minute, that's what I wanted. I was here for it. I wanted it. And usually when it comes, I'm still in that. And occasionally, I guess you get buyer's remorse, but I don't have it like a lot of people. Scaremare. I just unboxed that Scaremare. You'll see that maybe later in here. A little bit of buyer's remorse because it's so freaking expensive and it's so huge and takes up so much. And for a second, I'm just like, what am I doing with my life? I could almost ride this out of here. It's so big. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So maybe on that a little bit, but not really too much buyer's remorse. I do It's So Hard to Say Goodbye videos occasionally on the channel, of course. And I can't really say it's buyer's remorse because most of that stuff I've had for years. I've got my enjoyment out of it. I've sold it. And I 99.9% of the time get my money back on that, at least my money back. And I'm good at that end there if I can just get my money back. So it is what it is. I guess if you have a lot of buyer's remorse, if you're a person that has remorse all the time,
You're
you should probably
poor.
you're probably poor. Maybe, I guess. It means you shouldn't be paying for that kind of stuff, possibly. Or you're a person that doesn't think through things enough. Maybe you got to just sit there and think a little bit. Do I really need this? Will I like this in 6 months or something like that? I'm so passionate. Not that you back there are not super passionate, but I know what I like for sure. So I know I'm going to enjoy stuff. And I know some people think, oh, Kylie's buying all this stuff and just buying to buy. That's not the case. I have a focus. I have a method to the madness. And long before you guys got to hear it, I've got to get a deal. Angie was hearing that forever. I was always like, it would eat my soul away if I like missed something it was $1 cheaper at Walmart than Target. Stuff like that just grinds my gears and just gets deep into me. And then I challenge myself, Kyle, now something you got to save $2 on the back end. And Angie, how many times have I yelled at you forgot to take the coupon for bread? We got $1 off bread coupon. You forgot to take it. Because in my brain, all that money adds up and it's like, okay, I can save on bread. I can save, here's a deal on fuel saver for gas. You get all that savings there. it helps offset some of that other kind of stuff. So I always kind of do that kind of stuff. And I don't do it as much as I used to you, but I'm always like, Angie, did you check Amazon? Did you check Target? Did you check Walmart? If you're going to buy this shoes, that's fine, whatever it is. But at least search around. Don't just buy the first one you see. Got to get a deal out there.
I was just going to say, you've been getting a deal with me for decades.
Decades. And I think you're pretty good at it now. I think usually you look around a few different places a little bit here. But
we just have non-buyer's remorse.
Yeah, non-buyer's remorse? What's that?
Like when you don't buy it.
Oh,
FOMO.
Yeah, I wish I really would have bought that. And I've had that a few times as well on an action figure. Something like, I'll wait, play the long game. Then the long game, it doesn't work out and it's gone. So it's a dangerous game.
Pricing's your only issue. Sometimes we'll buy stuff, it'll go on sale. And then I always have to return it. And then
she's the master returner.
It's annoying.
That's my biggest remorse regret. It's primarily Target is, okay, the new Legend series went up for pre-order, got to get it, and I'll buy it and it'll have a deal or whatever. But then I'll find it in stores ahead of time. So then it's always confusing trying to take those ones back, or that's the biggest remorse I have is, oh my gosh. And then those Target ones always go to clearance for like $6.99. Oh, I paid $22.99. No, it's $6.99. Are you kidding me? But it's like, do I really want to wait 6 months for it to go on sale? And I see a lot of people in the comments always saying, oh, I got this at GameStop today for $10. Well, it was 3 years later since this came out. You know, you saved $8, $10, but it was 3 years wait. I don't know if the checks and balances worked there for me. But it's to each your own. It's your collection. Do what you want. But I see those comments all the time. I got this at Ross for $5 on a video I did 3 years ago. Well, is it worth waiting that long? If you really wanted it bad enough, you're probably willing to pay that extra $15 or something like that. So it's all relative at the end of the day.
I don't think anyone would be watching that video 3 years later.
Yeah, and it happens every once in a while, but usually not. So there it is. That is the Mother's Day question of the week. And if you want to be the question of the week, put your question in the comments down below. And don't forget to join Angie every single Tuesday on The Kyle Peterson Show, available wherever audio podcasts are found, with videocast here on YouTube. So for the two yellow bananas, it's time for the weekly purchases. All right, we got at least 2 rounds of weekly purchases. We'll see how it goes. But like I said, a lot of stuff through the door, a lot of stuff found in the wild, a lot going on this week. And as I keep saying, get me interested in the weeks that follow, what we're going to find, what we're going to have. We could have some short editions of weekly purchases, but we'll see what happens. Stay tuned, of course. But let's dive in. Let's start with Todd McFarlane from the couch. How about? Found some McFarlane stuff this week. Got Batman Year One Gold Label Edition. Found this at Walmart this week, so be on the lookout at your Walmart stores. Very similar with the new Red Chase Platinum Jade. Oh, Jade Cargill. She's green now. Who knew? But Green Lantern Corps, of course, Jade right there. We did get, speaking of Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan armor suit right there from the Return of Superman, of course. Never forget that. Found all these at Walmart. Also found the gold label Bizarro. Could be a sleeper figure this year. Can't wait to dive into this one here. Looking extra bizarre is what he's looking like, if you ask me. Got him through the door. And then at a Target, I was over in Nebraska for a meeting this week. A quick in and out. And I love a quick in and out, as you guys know. I did find him. Damage. It was there. Found him at a Target. Also found a very controversial one. Supergirl. Found her at Target. Of course, all the Walmart stock has been stolen. How are you coming on that, Todd? You guys figure anything out? Oh, yeah, it's not your problem. That's Walmart's problem. I forgot about that. We talked about that in my podcast about 2 weeks ago. I talked about how losing a whole trailer load of Joker and Supergirl is bad for Walmart. Not the worst news for Todd McFarlane. So if you want a little business hat breakdown of that whole situation, check out my podcast, of course, as we do deep dive a toy news thing every single week, and that was what we did. But we did get Supergirl through the door, found her at Target, so she's going to be hard to get, but there's going to be some around at other retailers, as we do know. So I did get those, and I also went to Amazon this week. They had a lightning deal, flash deal, whatever it was. I got both of these for $20. Playing the long game is what I got. I did get Nightwing, Disco Nightwing right there, and then I did get Wax Robin or Randy Marsh Robin. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Yeah, both of these for like $20. So got to get a deal. Once again, we know how that goes. But the hits keep on coming. This time they go over to Jay'sToysAndGames.com. Once again, sponsor of the channel. Use code Kyle. Save yourself 15%. A lot cheaper than other retailers. And Jay's and Mondo put out probably the two best notices in that Tarif situation that we were dealing with. Jay's isn't taking price increases. They're not doing anything like that. They're laying in the weeds as far as pre-orders go to find out. But they are very open and honest, and they're doing some other things they're going to really help people's business. And on top of that, saving 15%, got to get a deal. That's why I picked up all this stuff over there, because it was cheaper than anywhere else. But I did pick up the Simpsons Barney, the one I was missing from the collection. So I'll get Barney unboxed this week on the channel. Got him through the door. And then we got some new He-Man over there at Jay's. As of right now, all in stock, 15% off with code Kyle. Why wouldn't you? We did get Terror Claw's Skeletor from the Masterverse. Another amazing looking one here. I love the darkness of this one. Ninjor from the Masterverse as well. And last but certainly not least, a little girl power here. We got She-Ra. Oh, there she is. When's Swiftwind coming? But we got her again in the Masterverse. So we got 3 new Masterverse figures. And then it caught me at a weak moment. I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull the trigger. And I did. I did get the new Evil Dead 2-pack. I'm a sucker for Ash, of course. Sucker for Bruce Campbell. The Evil Dead 2-pack over there at Jay's. Once again, cheaper, 15% off over there. Same thing with this one. I was going to pass, but this is one of my absolute all-time favorite movies. It is, of course, the Return of the Living Dead 2-pack. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this NECA style. I like the more Ultimate style figures than the Barbie doll style figures as this. I just couldn't turn it down, I love the movie so much. Had to pick that one up. So there's round number 1 of weekly purchases. Now let's settle in for round number 2. All right, round number 2 of weekly purchases, and I lied. I guess we'll have a quick round number 3, so stay tuned for that. But let's dive into round number 2. Let's go, how about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first? Haulathon continues over there at Target. Glow in the Dark, you got my ears perked with that. We got Fugitoid Glow in the Dark edition hitting your Target Haulathon right now. Picked him up at Target this week. And then I made a little mistake. I forgot to order Raphael, but I got the 2003 Turtles. Got Leonardo, Super 7, of course. Leonardo right there. Also got Donatello. And then I guess you can figure it out if I said I missed Raphael. Well, there's Michelangelo. So I'm 1 turtle short. We'll get to them eventually, but I got the 3 ones in. Going to be interested to see how these do, how these look. First impressions, just looking at these, a little light on the accessories, especially for the $59 price point, something like that. So we'll discuss it. We'll talk about it in the video, of course. And last but not least, out of the Turtles Super 7 line, I don't know how I missed this figure. None of you guys told me I missed it. I unboxed the rest of the wave, but not this one. And I forgot to order this one. And luckily for me, once again, jaystoysandgames.com, just chilling on the shelf. I said, there it is. I'm going to pick that one up because I almost went to Super 7, but the Super 7 has the tariff upcharge, all that kind of stuff going on. Makes this like $70 with shipping. I got this at Jay's for $55. Then I got 15% off of that. Got to get a deal out there. So I do got that missing foot soldier part of my collection. So can't wait to dive into this one here. Looking pretty good there. But now how about a little wrestling action this week? Good shout out to good brother David C. Anderson. He said, well, you need this more than me right now, but hopefully you can find me one in the future. So I'm still on the hunt for this one, but it is the Monday Night Wars DDP Chase Edition. Possibly the second worst Chase Edition, variant edition in Mattel history. Maybe one day we'll do the top 5 worst variant chases from Mattel. This one will definitely make the list, but I do got DDP. We will unbox that on the channel. Also this week, KWK coming in extra hot this week as well. Taka Michinoku, of course, ×2. Got both versions of Taka right here, looking very good. And then, of course, you can't have Taka without TJP. TJ Perkins, of course, got his retro figures. So KWK, a lot of places to get KWK. Check out the toy news yesterday. We talk about them once again. A lot of ways to get this. Ox Baker pre-order available right now if Ox Baker is your thing. And why wouldn't he be? Those eyebrows, that heart punch. Oh, but still my heart, of course, with Ox Baker. But looking good there. But the last ones for round number 2, if you've been following my action figure hunts this week on the channel, and it started, I think, Wednesday for traditional YouTube, obviously earlier on Patreon. I did do kind of a moment in life, a day in the life video, I guess more like it, where my family and I, we went to SmackDown. We filmed some stuff there. The next day, my wife and I, we went to a bin store, a new bin store that opened up in town, so we checked that one out. We also went to a thing called Bacon Fest, so we checked that out in the video. And then next door to Bacon Fest was a flea market. And there I am at the flea market, just wandering around, looking at just a lot of hot garbage. Check out the video, but there is some action figure stuff there. And I was just sitting at a booth there, and I was standing at a table more like it. And I was staring lovingly into an action figure. And I was just looking at it like this and like, oh man, just looking. And the guy comes over to me and he goes, I'll give it to you for $5. And I swooped around and gave him the handshake, said, a deal. So I got this instead of $10 because I was prepared to pay up to $8 is what I was prepared to pay. But I was looking and I was like, I got to get this. I just have to pick this up. Well, I ended up doing it. I ended up getting it for $5, and I've seen these a million times over my life, but the time is now to own it. It is Jesse. It is the body. It is Ventura. It is no conspiracy needed. It is football coach Jesse Ventura in Zubaz pants, Barbie doll style. Picked this one up here. Of course, Jesse Ventura, an amazing, amazing one. But that wasn't it. I got this for $5. Then I go to our friends, Jay's Toys and Games. Check out Friday's figure hunt video. I went to one of their locations. Hadn't been there in a while. My daughters needed some K-pop stuff. Don't get me started on all this K-pop stuff. People probably think I'm the biggest K-pop collector in the United States at this point. I've got tickets for 2 different concerts at Wrigley Field for K-pop stuff. It's just absolutely out of control, this K-pop stuff, let me tell you. But while the kids were spending all my hard-earned money on K-pop things at Jay's, I did go over to the toy aisle and I saw something else. I saw Jesse Ventura Navy SEAL Edition. I said, oh my gosh, and it was $9.99. Then I got 15% off. Had to get a deal right there, so I got that one. Now I'm just missing Suit and Tie Jesse, the Governor Jesse. Need to pick that one up. I got to just finish the trilogy. And I'm almost thinking about going to a couple of different antique stores around me. They're having a big sale for Mother's Day weekend. I have to think between both of those, they'll have this. Obviously, Jesse Ventura, Minnesota being very close to me. A lot of Jesse Ventura stuff. And back in the day, I want to say it was at high school, I used to wear a shirt that it was Jesse. It was amazing. It said, my governor could beat up your governor. I used to wear that thing all the time. I miss that shirt. I need to get that back in my collection. But 2 Jessies this week. Can you believe that? We shocked the world in the toy hunts is what we did with old Jesse Ventura ×2 this week. So that is round number 2 of weekly purchases. Got a quick round number 3 coming at you. All right, we finish off weekly purchases with one last big purchase. Already did the video on the channel this week, so check it out if you missed it. It is the Mondo Masters of the Universe Scare Mare, a giant skeleton horse, just absolutely next level. I buy a lot of stuff. I buy a lot of ridiculous stuff. This could be the most ridiculous thing I have ever bought with these huge wings. Look at the wingspan on this guy. Looks like he's getting ready to take flight from this table here. So absolutely insanity. Where does somebody display something with this wingspan? Almost impossible in a normal collector's collection, myself included. So my plan is these wings aren't long for the world. I'm going to box these ones up, put these away. I'm going to put the little effect pieces in the ports instead. Just have them as more of a traditional horse because I just do not have room for these huge wings. But this did come in on Saturday after I filmed weekly purchases last week. So technically counts towards this week. But man, a big beast of a creature. Absolutely amazing though. Usually it is with the Mondo. Of course, we've had a rough go the last 6 months or so with Mondo. But they always make it right. And I am thankful I didn't have any issues with any breakage or anything on this one here. It's obviously a pricey figure. But man, oh man, absolutely next level through the door this week is the Mondo Scare Glow. And that is the weekly purchases. Be interested to hear what you picked up this week. Anything good come across your doorstep or maybe out at the toy hunting? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channels, both channels. Make sure you do it. Check out YouTube channel memberships and Patreon for a chance at the giveaways, early access to all the videos, glamour shots, you name it. A lot of stuff going on over there. And looking at some new content, maybe even my wife doing a couple of Patreon exclusive shows over there. So we'll see what ends up happening with that more in the future, possibly. We'll see. But a lot going on in Patreon, YouTube channel memberships. Podcast every single week or early. Once again, for Patreon YouTube channel members, it is The Kyle Peterson Show. Check it out. Give it a 5-star review if you can. Always appreciate the support. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok. Of course, my book, The Complete Guide to the ECW Original San Francisco Toy Makers line by yours truly. Autographed copies available from me with some throw-ins and whatever else you want. And as well as Amazon, Barnes & Noble, hardcover, softcover editions available. Appreciate the support over there. And then, of course, TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com. So for another week of weekly purchases, you know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling into Mother's Day.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?